Good morning, everybody. Today we will be dealing with equilibrium calculations for demand and supply. Before we start, let's quickly recap our demand and supply curve. On our y-axis, we will have price, and on our x-axis, we will have quantity. Our upward sloping curve is our supply curve, and the downward sloping curve, our demand curve. Where our demand and supply intersect, this is our equilibrium point. At equilibrium, we will obtain our equilibrium price and our equilibrium quantity. Equilibrium is the condition in the market system when the quantity demand is equal to the quantity supply. We denote this by E. Demand and supply can be written in linear function form, meaning y equals mx plus c. Now we are going to use price and quantity. We will therefore write both our supply and demand in their functional form. Supply can be written as follows. Quantity supplied is equal to 10 plus 2p. Plus 2p. The positive 2, this is our slope coefficient. For supply, the positive slope coefficient indicates that if price increases, quantity will also increase. For demand, we will have the following. Quantity demand is equal to 30 minus 2p, where our slope coefficient is equal to minus 2. This indicates that our demand has an inverse relationship between price and quantity. What are we actually doing today? As we know by now, quantity demand and quantity supplied intersect one another at equilibrium. We will use our quantity supplied and quantity demand, our functions of demand and supply, and we will calculate equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity. Let's look at our first example. In order to calculate the equilibrium price and quantity, grab your notes, your calculator and your pen and do the following example with me. The following steps will be followed in order to calculate equilibrium price and quantity. Step 1. We will solve for P using our demand and supply function. Step 2. We are going to substitute our calculated value of P into either our quantity demand or quantity supplied function. And our last step, we will solve for Q, our quantity. We will therefore use our demand and supply function in order to calculate equilibrium price and quantity. Step 1. Solve for P. We will start with the following. Quantity supplied is equal to quantity demand. Our quantity supplied is equal to 10 plus 2p, equal to our quantity demand, which is 30 minus 2p. In order to solve for p, we will take our minus 2p to the left and our 10 to the right, this giving us 2p plus 2p equal to 30 minus 10. 2p plus 2p gives us 4p equal to 30 minus 10, which is 20. We will divide both sides by 4 in order to solve for p. Our final answer for p is therefore 5. Step 1 done. Step 2. We are going to use our calculated value for p and substitute this in either our demand or supply function. P is equal to 5. We will now substitute this value into our supply function. Quantity supplied is equal to 10 plus 2p. We will now substitute our value for p into our equation. Quantity supplied is therefore 10 plus 2 and in brackets our calculated value for p, which is 5. Quantity supplied is therefore equal to 10 plus 10. 2 times 5 equals 10. Our final answer for quantity supplied is equal to 20. In order to confirm that our calculated value for quantity is correct, we will do the exact same method by substituting our calculated value for P into our demand function. Quantity demand is equal to 30 minus 2P, and we will substitute our calculated value for P into this equation. Quantity demand is therefore equal to 30 minus 2 in brackets our 5, and we will multiply minus 2 by 5, giving us 10. Therefore, quantity demand is equal to 30 minus 10, giving us a final answer of 20. Both our quantity supplied and quantity demand is equal to 20. We know therefore that we are correct. Let's quickly recap our steps. Step 1. Solve for P. We obtained our value for P by stating quantity supplied is equal to quantity demand. Following this method, we obtained a final value of 5. Step 2. Substitute our calculated value for P into our quantity demand or quantity supplied function. We substituted our calculated value for P into our quantity supplied, therefore giving us a final value of 20. And finally, our last step. For step 3, we substituted our calculated value for P into our quantity demand function, giving us the exact same answer of 20. We can therefore confirm that we correctly solved our equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity. Great work! Step 1, Step 2, Step 3 complete. Great work, everybody! So, we calculated our equilibrium price and quantity, meaning our equilibrium price is now 5 and our equilibrium quantity is now 20. Thank you all for joining me today. Next time we will look at more calculations.